fair warning to everyone.
No worries, you're just going live.
We are live, and I'm gonna update some settings. Okay. I've got about a minute, so I'm going to just go ahead and start the recording now.
Okay, it's 5:30. I will now call to order the October 15th meeting of the Salem Historic Landmarks Commission. Will the recorder please take roll call?
Commissioner Cunningham?
Here.
Commissioner Kuderman?
Here.
Commissioner McGlinty-Timbrook?
Here.
Commissioner Schwartz?
Here.
Commissioner Thomas?
Here.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Here.
Commissioner Mulvihill, absent excused. Commissioner French, absent excused. Commissioner Schutte, absent excused. Sorry, I just forgot my script, but we have established quorum.
The commission will now hear testimony from the public concerning items not on the agenda. Is there anyone wishing to speak at this time? I believe we do have somebody.
Yeah, I believe that we have John Van Driel on. John, right now would be the time to go ahead and there you are. Go ahead and address the commissioners.
Hello. This is kind of a last minute thing and I'm not good with technology. So thank you, Zachary, for helping me navigate this. I'm here because I applied for a toolbox grant and unfortunately, my contractor who last painted my home 15 years ago let his lead certification lapse. So he has taken the class 3 weeks ago, but the website or the documentation for that has not arrived with him yet. So he hasn't been able to forward it. And I think Zachary's looked at the website and his name still isn't listed. So I'm here to ask if I can get an extension for consideration of that toolbox grant. Up until now, he's waited to start the project until he gets the proof of certification. We're kind of running out of time, so we may not make it. given the rainy season's on its way. But if we could get an extension, I might have a shot at having that documentation to y'all by within the next week or two. I'm at 595 Leslie Street Southeast, just a few blocks from you. Again, it's John Vandriel and also Colleen Vandriel.
So,
Great. Oh, sorry. I was just going to supplement what he said. Yeah, and it would be helpful if the commission feels comfortable granting the extension, if you could make a motion and vote. And I think 60 days would be adequate, with the clarification that in lieu of the actual certification, an email from the instructor would suffice for documentation.
Okay.
That would help staff.
I will send an email to Eric after this meeting and ask him for that.
I move to grant the 68-day extension as long as conditions outlined by Kimberly are met.
do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So I have a motion by Commissioner Schwartz and a second from Commissioner Zimmerman to allow the extension for 60 days and an email in lieu of the actual certification. We vote? All those in favor? Say aye.
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 Oh, motion passes. So yes, you've got your extension.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I may not make it anyway because he's got to begin the repair work. There's a lot of dry rot on the exterior of the house, but I'll take my best shot. And Kimberly, I'll have him email his instructor, and hopefully it'll work out. But thank you so much for all you do. I appreciate it.
Oh,
I'll go
one
ahead.
thing I would just like to say, John, I appreciate you owning a historic home and taking advantage of the programs that we have available and coming before us today and making sure that you have a good coat of paint on it and are taking care of the dry rot. Appreciate you occupying that home and giving it some love and care that it needs. So thank you.
It is truly my pleasure. We absolutely love this house, and thank you for the past toolbox grants. This will be my third one if I get it. The previous two, I was able to use the same kind of shake on the faux roof facade. It's a Dutch colonial. So I really appreciate all the help in the past. So hopefully it'll work out. Thank you again for everything.
And John, you're welcome to stay for the rest of the meeting if you'd like, but you can also take off from here.
I will. I'm actually in Moscow, Idaho. My dog is sick, and the only place she can get her treatment is Pullman, Washington.
I'm from there.
Hey, I like it. That's
Sorry.
why I picked Moscow, because it's I think it's an adorable town, and it's only 8 miles from the hospital. So I'm currently residing there for another week while my little dog gets her cancer treatment. So I'm going to go ahead and jump off. Zachary, thanks. I'm going to go get some dinner downtown. Not sure where, but somewhere. Thank you.
Frankie's Eros.
All right. Oh, yeah. All right. Bye, all.
Bye.
Thank you. May I please have a motion to approve the minutes?
I move to approve the September 2020 Historic Landmark Commission meeting minutes.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So I have a motion to approve the minutes from the September 22nd, was it September 17th meeting minutes, seconded by Commissioner Zimmerman. All those approve? Say aye.
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 Motion passes. Oh, yeah. So I guess now on to the public hearing. Oh, see the script for public hearings. Oh, where's that? Oh, no, hold on. Oh, where's my script?
I sent you a script earlier
know, and I
today with
thought
both of them.
I thought I printed them both out, and I guess I didn't. I only printed one out, so hold on a second. Sorry, people watching.
It's okay.
Okay.
Well,
I got it. Hey, I will now open the public hearing for historic review case number HIS 20-23 for 234 Liberty Street Northeast. Can the staff please read the hearing procedure statement into the record?
Oh, are we doing
Oh.
23 or 24?
Oh,
24 is first on the agenda. Sorry.
24, sorry.
That was a
24.
weird mistake that I made. So they're out of.
241705 Court Street Northeast.
Yes. So this is a public hearing to consider case number HIS 20-24 for property located at 1705 Court Street Northeast. The criteria applicable to this hearing are listed in Salem Revised Code, Chapter 230.065, General Guidelines for Historic Contributing Resources. Failure to raise an issue prior to the close of the public hearing with statements or evidence sufficient to afford the Historic Landmarks Commission and parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals, LUBA, on that issue. A similar failure to raise constitutional issues relating to proposed conditions of approval precludes an action for damages in circuit court. Prior to the conclusion of the hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence or testimony. The Historic Landmarks Commission may then either continue the public hearing or leave the record open for at least 7 days.
Oh, you're muted, Jennifer.
Okay. Are there any ex parte contacts or conflicts of interest that any of the commissioners would like to declare at this time? So since there's none, may we now have the staff presentation?
Great. So hi, I'm Kimberly Fitzgerald. I am the Historic Preservation Officer for the City of Salem, and I'd like to enter the staff report, its attachments, and all testimony into the record. So this house is a historic contributing resource in the Court Chemeketa Historic District. It's called the Dennison House. That's the historic name. It was constructed in 1910 by John and Lizzie Dennison. Skiva and Lillian Laughlin bought the house in 1930, and Professor Laughlin was a Willamette Professor of Economics, Sociology, and Anthropology, and he also served as a member of the Salem City Council. So the Dennison House has been modified several times over the years, including modifications to the front porch and an addition of a front dormer, as well as alterations to the rear. In particular, the part where we're discussing today, the eastern portion of the open front porch has been enclosed, though it's not clear exactly when. However, the Sanborn fire insurance maps from 1915, 1926, and 1950 all show the original footprint of the house and confirm that the eastern portion was not originally enclosed. And I'm going to show you a few more pictures that try to help us unravel the mystery of what happened when. There's a few pictures here submitted by the applicant that you can see the interior, which is on the eastern side, and this exterior shot too shows the construction of the porch. So the main roof doesn't cover the front porch entirely. It's overframed over the main roof, and the porch roof we think was added at a later time, possibly at the time that that dormer was added in 1979, 1980. After the Duncan family bought the property. The key point is that the roof changes pitch over the stairwell window, and the main roof continues through the whole stairwell with some. So moving on. So the applicant is proposing to rehabilitate the front porch, the stairs, and the eastern porch enclosure. The rehabilitation is necessary to correct design flaws in the porch enclosure that have caused water intrusion and dry rot. So here's a few more pictures showing the details of the porch itself and the way that that porch was enclosed. The subfloor projects and there's been water intrusion there. There's a detail photo there. So additional design corrections are needed to correct the height differences on the various sections of the porch floor, and that in turn is requiring a rebuild of the steps and the railing. The applicant is also proposing to replace the non-original front door. This door will be replaced with a new wooden multi-light door, and a new single step to this entry will also be added. So in addition to correcting the structural deficiencies on the eastern porch enclosure, the applicant's proposing to replace the existing wall and lap siding under the windows, and will be replacing the windows as well with a double pane divided light fixed casement window, the Anderson A series, and the existing shingles on the lower portion of the wall on the eastern facade will be replaced with a lap siding. The western side of the porch will be reconstructed with new decking, new steps, new wooden front entry railings and posts, and a new wooden guardrail running the length of the porch. So now I'm going to go through the findings for the applicable guidelines. So beginning with SRC 230065A use, the applicant is proposing to retain the original residential use of the property. The street access, landscape design, height, footprint, and massing will not be altered as a result of the proposal. And while the proposed rehabilitation does include a proposal to replace the existing front door and windows, which enclose that eastern portion of the porch, these openings will remain substantially the same. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that this guideline has been met. Staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that there are no original historic materials or distinctive features original to the structure proposed for removal, reconstruction, or repair, and that further, the applicant is not proposing to restore or reconstruct any features based upon physical or photographic evidence, and that therefore guidelines 230065B, C, and D are not applicable to the evaluation of this proposal. And regarding E, the proposal will result in this portion of the front facade retaining its form, which is evidence of its history and development over time. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that this guideline has been met. So 230065F and G, as I mentioned, the applicant's proposal is necessary to correct design flaws in the porch enclosure that have caused the water intrusion and dry rot. And additional design corrections are needed to fix the height differences on various sections of the porch floor, which in turn is requiring a rebuild of the steps and railing. And the replacement of the non-original windows within the porch enclosure, as well as the front door, the openings will be substantially retained, and these replacement materials and design are compatible with the Dennison house. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that SRC 230065F and G have been met for the proposal. Regarding H, the rehabilitation is necessary to correct design flaws as we've gone over before. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that this guideline has been met, and there's no grading proposed. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that this guideline is not applicable to the evaluation of this proposal. There's been no public comment, no comments from the Neighborhood Association. The Building and Safety Division has stated that building permits are required, and there's been no comments from any public agencies. So based on the information presented in the application and the plans submitted for review and the findings as presented, staff recommends the Landmarks Commission approve the proposal. That concludes my staff report.
Do any of the commissioners have questions for staff? I guess that's a no. I will now call for the applicant's testimony. Please state your name and address for the record. And please note that your testimony is limited to 15 minutes.
This is David Dahl, and my address is 1705 Court Street Northeast. I don't really have much to add. I'm just wondering if there's any questions.
Do any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant? No. Seeing that there are none, I will now call for a motion.
I move to approve HIS 20-24 per staff recommendations.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
So I have Commissioner Schwartz making a motion to approve, seconded by Commissioner Zimmerman. To your motion, Commissioner Schwartz.
Yeah, no, I don't have a lot to say. I think this looks great. This house sits, based on the maps you showed us, Kimberly, at a pretty, prominent corner in Salem. And so it's nice that it's getting some attention and going to be getting some work done to kind of bring it up. I drive by this house every now and then, so I'm excited to kind of watch the work happen. And yeah, that's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
I was just going to say, I always appreciate it when homeowners make the extra effort to improve their properties. So, hopefully this house can last, with a new porch like that, at least another 100 years. These houses are beautiful, and it's always nice to see people put in that extra effort to make sure that they continue to last and make the repairs that are the proper ones to ensure that happens.
And I echo what Commissioner Schwartz and Zimmerman both said, just the appreciation for the house and to want to do the job the right way and to go through the proper steps and to give the home the love that it needs. So do I have, let's all vote.
Jennifer, real quick, I think technically you have to close the hearing before you can vote. So if you would close it, so I can mark it in the minutes.
Okay, so is there anyone else who'd like to testify? Okay, so there's none. So I'm going to close the public hearing and we'll now proceed to deliberations. Oh, okay, so now you guys made the motion. And I will now call for a vote on the motion. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Yep. All those opposed say nay. The motion passes. I will now move on. Hold on. Scroll on the script. Okay. I will now open the public hearing for historic review case number HIS 20-23 for 234 Liberty Street Northeast. Would the recorder please read the hearing procedure statement into the record?
This is a public hearing to consider case number HIS 20-23 for property located at 234 Liberty Street Northeast. The criteria applicable to this hearing are listed in Salem Revised Code, Chapter 230.056, Signs in Commercial Historic Districts, and Chapter 230.070, General Guidelines for Non-Contributing Buildings and Structures. Failure to raise an issue prior to the close of the public hearing with statements or evidence sufficient to afford the Historic Landmarks Commission and the parties an opportunity to respond to the issue precludes appeal to the Land Use Board of Appeals, LUBA, on that issue. A similar failure to raise constitutional issues relating to proposed conditions of approval precludes an action for damages in circuit court. Prior to the conclusion of the hearing, any participant may request an opportunity to present additional evidence or testimony. The Historic Landmarks Commission may then either continue the public hearing or leave the record open for at least 7 days.
Are there any conflicts of interest or ex parte contacts for the commissioners? Seeing as there's none, may we now have the staff presentation, please?
Good evening, Kimberly Fitzgerald, Historic Preservation Officer for the City of Salem. I'd like to enter the staff report, its attachments, and all public testimony into the record. So this building located at 234 Liberty is a non-contributing resource to our downtown commercial historic district. And while we've got the overhead view, I just want to point out that there's a difference in height on the front of the building. And I'm going to go into that a little bit more just because it's interesting in terms of understanding the building itself. So as most of you are aware, this particular project, there was a stop work order issued because there was some confusion on behalf of the applicant regarding work on the exterior. And after a complaint was received regarding this work, the applicant subsequently applied for the historic design review approval, which is before you tonight, as well as associated building permits for work on the exterior. So I'm going to go over this, the history for this resource. So the nomination documents state that this building was constructed in 1933 with alterations to the building in the 1970s. However, according to research completed as part of the update that Kirsten did to our downtown historic district, as well as a little bit of additional research we did here over the last few weeks, it appears as though this building was not constructed until 1936. The first major tenant was the Golden Pheasant, along with the chocolate shop. This is a pretty cool, I think it's a postcard. You can see the chocolate shop on the right there. And just to note, it appears as though the structure initially included 2 storefront entries, and the front facade was all that same height. So the southern tenant space was occupied by Leon's Beautiful Shoes from 1938 to 1945. And you can see the picture on the left side of your screen there, a tiny section of the Leon sign. And then on the right of your screen, you can see the huge Knops sign. So Knops purchased the Golden Pheasant in 1954, and it was in operation for a really long time through 1995. And then from 1996 to 1999, it was Tommy John's was in there. But you can see that like the storefront has changed quite a lot over the years. And this Sanborn, it's from 1950. If you recall the overview we looked at a few minutes ago, this kind of shows the footprint as of 1950 and the division of the interior spaces there. So this is a photo from last year. Just this rapid refill was in there for a while, and it had a pretty big awning covering over half of the top of the storefront there. So many of you probably remember that. So the applicant is requesting first retroactive approval to remove the existing storefront, and then approval to replace it with a new aluminum and glass storefront with a tile base and a new flat top metal canopy. They're proposing a new stucco finish over the existing exterior concrete wall, as well as a new cornice and parapet cap on top of the existing concrete front facade. They're also proposing to install a new metal 11-foot by 3.5-foot sign flush to the primary facade above the awning. And they're proposing that the perimeter be illuminated by LEDs, halo lit, and the letters illuminated white. At the rear of the building, the applicant is proposing to install a new metal door within an existing opening fronting the alley, and they're also proposing to install a new gas meter. There has to be a new line run through the alley to the back as well. And the applicant is also proposing a new skylight, which is 6 feet by 10 feet and metal framed and located at the center of the roof of the building, not visible from the right of way. So now I'm going to go through the applicable criteria. For those of you that looked through the staff report, there's quite a lot to go through, and I'm going to go through it one at a time. So first, we're going to talk about the signage. So the applicable criteria are in SRC 230.056. The proposed signage is constructed of metal with light letters on a dark background. It's similar in size, scale, and design to the signage that's throughout the downtown historic district. And it doesn't include neon, but it does include LED perimeter lighting. And this lighting is minimal. I think it's there have been a few cases that you've approved this type of signage downtown previously, and it will not adversely affect any neighboring resources. And the signage is located where historically signage has actually been on the building. I think you saw that in the Leon's Shoes sign. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that the criterion for SRC 230056 has been met for this proposal. And now we're going to talk about the storefront 230045D. So as we discussed, there's no original material left from the original building. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that there's no historic materials or features proposed for removal, reconstruction, or repair, and that standard 230045D1A is not applicable. The proposed replacement materials are compatible, metal and glass and the stucco, and they're of the same quality and type of materials found throughout storefronts in the downtown historic district. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that SRC 230045D1B has been met for this proposal. And regarding D, which is D2, which is design, as we discussed, the original storefront is no longer extant. Therefore, it's not feasible to preserve any of the original character defining features of that original storefront. The proposed new storefront over a tile base with a flat metal canopy along with the concrete exterior topped by a stucco finish and cornice with a parapet cap does reflect the tripartite design of other contributing commercial buildings in the district, and it is compatible with the general surrounding historic district. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that SRC 230045D2A has been met. The applicant is not proposing to restore the storefront to a precise date within the period of significance. Therefore, staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that SRC 230045D2B is not applicable to the evaluation of this proposal. And regarding C, the applicant's proposed new storefront design is compatible with the scale, massing, height, and materials of storefronts within the downtown historic district. So staff recommends the Landmarks Commission find that this criterion has been met. So now on to the last few things and our last set of criteria, the guidelines, general guidelines for non-contributing resources in SRC 230070. So the proposed new rear entry door is, it's an insulated hollow metal door within a metal frame and consistent with similar alley facing doors within the downtown historic district. And the skylight as well is metal framed with glass, and it's not visible from the right-of-way and is compatible both with the resource itself and typical of skylights found throughout the downtown historic district. So staff recommends the HLC find that SRC 230070 has been met for this proposal. There's been no public comment, no comments from the neighborhood association. The Building and Safety Division has indicated the applicant's already applied for a building permit and a sign permit is also required. And there have been no comments from any public agencies. So based upon the information presented in the application, the plan submitted for review and findings as presented in the staff report, staff recommends the Landmarks Commission approve the proposal. That concludes the staff report.
Same brand.
Do any of the commissioners have questions for staff?
I have a question, Kimberly.
Sure.
So I guess I'm just curious because I know in our new plan that we're working on, we are like trying to address code enforcement and that it's been a problem. So I'm just curious, it sounds like they got the building permits. Was the disconnect just that because they are kind of near maybe the edge of the district, or just like we can better understand as we prepare to address code enforcement issues, what the problems are? Is that something you can speak to or provide a little clarification on?
So the applicant is here this evening, and the applicant's representative as well, Jim from Studio 3. But my understanding is that they did have permits submitted, but they were just for the interior of the project. And so, and I had reviewed those, and I had put on the plans interior work only, but I feel like there was a disconnect there, that it wasn't clear. I know they had some issues on doing the work on the interior, but I should let them speak to that. And I think that as soon as they found out, they right away went ahead and submitted for the appropriate building permit and historic design review approval. But I think they could better speak to where their confusion was.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
Does anybody else have any questions for staff?
Yeah, it's Andy. I'm kind of curious. So the stop work order, is that still in place then, or is that just in place for the exterior work, or?
Yeah, right. So the stop work order was just for the exterior work until we got through this process. And they did already, and any commercial building downtown, we don't regulate the interior. So they got their permits to work on the interior already. And as I understand it, they were continuing work on the interior.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I will now call for the applicant's testimony. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hello, this is Jim with Studio 3 Architecture. I'm at 275 Court Street Northeast. So I don't know if we want to get right into the stop work order thing. So Studio 3 knows better. There may have been a disconnect on the owner side, contractor side. They did have a permit, but Studio 3 anyway, we're downtown here. We do this work downtown all the time. And usually if anyone wants to touch the exterior, the first call is to Kimberly. So that's really all I can say about that. We can't always babysit contractors, some we go out there and say, what are you doing? And I think it's just one of those moments. You hate to see it. So that's my comment on that. We could always follow up with the owner. I don't know if it's as pertinent to what the topic of discussion here is or not. But we can always follow up with that to try to see how we can avoid that in the future. So I guess just stating on the facade here, I think it's definitely an improvement to what we have there now. It's great to see that building getting cleaned up, getting brand new storefront, finishes. I think it's going to be fantastic. It's the design as a whole is really subtle. We're not doing anything too outlandish here. It's kind of fitting the pieces that kind of make up the Salem downtown. Your awning. It's reminiscent of many of the other buildings nearby. You have your strong tile base or just strong base, as the case in most buildings in the historic downtown area. And really that's about it outside of just dark brown storefronts and flashings, and maybe just a little reveal in the stucco work that kind of accents the sign. And I think I'm excited personally that there's a restaurant going in over here to kind of activate that side of the street. You don't see too much activity on the east side of Liberty as you do the west side. So I'm excited to see the chairs and tables pulled out there and have a little bit more life, people dining and activity happening there. Hopefully it's a trend. So yeah, that's all that I have.
Did the owner want to speak at all?
I know you're there. I don't know if he had anything prepared or, but yeah, let us know, Tanaji. Okay.
Is there anybody, there is nobody representing the neighborhood association. Does any of the commissioners have questions for the applicant? Okay, Seeing as there's none, I will now close. Oh, yeah, I will now close the public hearing. I will now call for a motion. Oh, wait, I'm sorry, I didn't finish reading it. Oh, did somebody say something? Sorry.
I was going to move, but I'll wait.
Oh, I will now close the public hearing. No additional testimony will be accepted at this time without formally reopening the hearing. I will now call for a motion.
I move to approve HIS 20-23 per staff recommendations.
Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
We have a motion by Commissioner Schwartz and seconded by Commissioner Zimmerman. To your motions.
Yeah, well, first of all, Jim, thank you for kind of the clarification about the code enforcement stop work order. I'm not trying to get anyone in trouble or point the finger. I think just it's good for us to understand maybe where the disconnect is happening so we can try to address that through our public outreach and engagement methods. And again, that's a big component of our new preservation plan that'll be going into place. I'm glad to hear that you guys are always on the phone with Kimberly. That's great. Glad you guys are working in downtown to kind of revive it and get some business and some movement down there. So that's great. And I appreciate the insight offered. No, I agree. I mean, I think this is a good project. It'll be nice to have some more dining options downtown. And I just hope it goes great and that we can all be eating dinner there soon. So that's everything for me. Thank you.
Commissioner Zimmerman?
Yeah, kind of just piggybacking on what Tracy said. I think it's nice to see something happening kind of on the northern end of the historic district downtown. Over the past couple of years, it seems like there's more action kind of to the south and middle of the district and not so much north. It feels kind of like it's kind of been neglected in a sense by new opportunities or new storefronts being constructed in that area. So it's nice to see a little more attention going into that area with some of these storefronts that have kind of been, I don't want to say neglected, but haven't really been focused upon over the past, decade or two. So it's good to see some fresh life into some of these places.
Thank you. I agree. I said it's always exciting to have a new storefront in the downtown. And even though it's not a historic contributing resource, it's still a contributing resource as it's just physical entity in our downtown. And so I think it's just exciting to have some new fresh life put into it, and exciting to have the Thai Orchid move to the street level and hopefully help their business too. So moving on, I will now call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. This motion passes. Okay. And now moving on to action items. Am I missing? I'm not missing anything, am I? Nope. Okay, action items. Hold on, where's my agenda?
You're not
We have
missing
no
anything.
action items.
But if any of the people who were here for the public hearings, you're free to go now if you would like to, but you're also welcome to stay if you want to hear about our action items and discussion.
All right, thank you. Have a good night.
Bye, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Have a good night.
Discussion items. Commissioner terms and bylaws.
Can I
Do you
talk
want me
about?
to share those?
Yeah, so if you can pull those up and then let's just chat about it. So some of you may have heard from the city manager's office that your term was expiring, and you, if you want to be re-upped, then you have to actually reapply. So Jessica, Commissioner Kurteman, you're nearing the end of your first term, and Commissioner Schutte, who's not here, and then I was going to say Commissioner Jennifer, Commissioner Timbrook. Both of you are nearing the end of your second term. So Zach has the rules up here. So here's what's tricky. What we asked for some direction. there is some language in Salem Revised Code regarding partial terms. So both Jennifer and Russell have served a partial term. And so we just don't have that. We don't address that in our current rules. So with your okay, we would like to add something to it. So I don't know. Let's see, Zach, so if you could scroll down a little bit, I think so it says, so in terms of our officer section, it does address terms. It says officers may serve a maximum of 2 successive one-year terms, but down in terms of the meetings of the commission, we just don't have anything that says what you do when you have a partial term. So we would just like to add some language that refers back to that section. It's in section 2, where is that? 2.650 of the general Salem Revised Code. And I'm going off of memory here. So Zach, tell me if I've got this right. If your partial term is you've served more than 2/3 of a full term, then you're not eligible to reapply. So you have to like math it up a bit. So our terms are 3 years, right? So go ahead, Zach.
Yes. So according to the code, if you've served 2/3, that counts as a full term.
Yeah.
And I believe from our math, Jennifer, you would be timing out because you've served 2 years of a 3-year term, but Commissioner Schutte only served 1.5 years.
So this makes me sad. So Jennifer, yeah. So for the so Russell's not here, but Jessica, I'm hoping that you'll agree to re-up. You have to like what did she say? Linda said that she could just send an email without having to completely reapply. Okay.
So there is a link where you can go and it'll take you to your original application and you basically just resubmit it. But you should have received that in an email. If you are too bothered to do that, they said you can just send us an email and we can forward it to them, indicating your interest in continuing on the commission. And that would suffice. But technically, you should reapply.
Yeah.
So when does my term end?
December.
December would be your final meeting.
I know.
But I just started to get to know you.
I know.
This is all suddenly very sad.
I know. Anyway, so you can still work on our subcommittees if you want.
That's very true. Am I like termed out forever? Can I like take a break and then come back?
No, you can take a break.
It says successive.
Have to be gone forever.
Yeah, you could just take a little break. I don't know. This is the first time we've been fully, I was going to say staffed. All the commissioner seats have been filled. I know for a long time we had a lot of vacancies, so it's really terrible. Anyway, so what we really need though is a motion from you guys, even though this isn't on the action section, about updating our rules so that we can put this language in our rules so that we have it clear in here. If you guys are okay with that.
I move to add clarification to the bylaws regarding term limits for partial terms.
There you go. Thank you.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Commissioner Schwartz moves to clarify our commission rules, seconded by Commissioner Cottingham.
Just a quick question. I'm used to looking at rules that get changed and there's like strike through and blue and red and
yeah, we didn't put anything in. It's just the existing rules. We didn't.
Oh, it's the existing
So
rules.
sorry. We will come back with those. We just needed direction to go ahead and do them, and we'll bring back those revisions for you to actually look at, These are just
Yeah.
your existing. And for those of you that have your 3-ring binders, I don't know, does anyone have those anymore? They might be in.
Oh yeah.
I think mine's in the garage. I'm sorry.
I made my own.
It's been a
but-
while.
I've got mine. I've got mine.
Okay,
So we'll
sorry, I
bring
just-
back actual strike throughs, Kelly, for you to actually read. Yeah, what you got was just the existing one.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
This is a motion to amend with
And then-
Correct.
specifics.
And it's a motion to direct staff to come back with amendments.
Okay, all right, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Okay, now that we've established that I only have 2 more meetings, on to winter newsletter assignments.
Did you vote? Did everyone vote?
Oh, yeah, sorry, we need a vote, sorry. All those in favor of directing staff to clarify our rules, say aye.
I
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
On to the winter newsletter assignments. I'm terming out, so I'm not doing anything.
You should write like a farewell, a retrospective on your time as a commissioner.
We didn't make Andrew do. We didn't make Andrew do that. He termed out too.
So for the winter newsletter, that is the print version, and it's only going to be 4 pages because we only have so many pages that we can mail. So not very many things are going to go in it. But I don't know if people have thoughts already on things that they would like. They're very excited to write about. But if not, I will go through and see the categories that we would normally have and who wants to fill those.
She's not here right now, but is Commissioner Mulvihill still planning on doing women's history in Salem? Because that got moved from the the fall one, correct?
I do remember that.
I have not heard anything since our last meeting regarding that, but she did indicate she was planning on doing that. But I suppose we could reach out to her and see if that's still something she has the capacity to work on. And then, sorry, I'm opening up my list of things. So we have our general thing. We're going to send out a homeowner notification to all the new homeowners in the historic districts. And then otherwise, we have spots for doing some sort of spotlight on a historic person or place. Anything new in Salem, and an article about winter restoration tips, if we have anything for those, if anyone can think of anything that would be appropriate.
With John Van Driel talking at the top of the meeting about the toolbox grants, I'm wondering, are there any projects we've had as far as somebody we could spotlight or highlight? Are there any ways we could spotlight somebody that would also sort of remind people about the grants for next cycle?
I don't know if
I can't.
We have an applicant who has gone through several cycles and plans on continuing going through them until she's replaced every single window in her house. So
Yeah, that house on High Street. Yeah, Krista West. We could ask her if she wants to write about it. We could have a guest writer. Can we do
she's
that?
very excited to talk about it. She invited me to
Yeah.
her house so I could come see the progress. So
She's very interesting too. She's got a very interesting business. Yeah, we can ask.
When there's and if that's not enough, we could also have, a couple houses, because also on Randy Gold, also on High Street, they've had several projects over the years.
I think that would be a good article for all of the new homeowners who wouldn't know about the Toolbox grant program anyway.
That's a good idea. Carol could edit it.
That's right.
I don't know if you...
That's what you get for suggesting something. Yeah. So I think that, and you brought up the maintenance one. I think that we did. I mean, you can do sort of winter maintenance and those type of things. I think we did that recently, last couple of years. So I don't know. That's my suggestion. If we don't, the women's history would still be great if that's possible.
I think it would be a good idea to have somebody who's, using it. It's a good like hands-on, this is how my process went and how well it worked out, and to have that in the newsletter for other people to read. So good suggestion, Carol.
Okay.
Is there anything
Well,
else?
I can help shepherd it along.
Is there anything else we need to address with the newsletter, Zach?
I think that we can fill, since it's just 4 pages, I think that we can probably fill it with that information. The only things to consider are we want all the content by December 9th. So I'll check in with, or I'm assuming I will check in with Krista and maybe some of our other toolbox grant recipients to see if they're willing to write a little bit on that, and then check in with Commissioner Mulvihill about women's suffrage and women's rights article. Assuming that those things are going to work out, then I think we're good. But if not, we should be prepared in the November meeting to have something quick.
Okay, subcommittee reports. Commissioner Schwartz. Where'd you
Nothing
go?
to report on. I'm right here.
Like I didn't see you.
I have nothing to report on. Thank you.
Commissioner Zimmerman.
I haven't done as much lately as I've wanted to do with different kind of things to kind of grab people. My hope is now that I have a little bit more free time, I can kind of tackle some of the things that I talked about previously. So hopefully by the time we meet up next month, I'll be able to do so. But yeah, if you want to continue to help, Jennifer, feel free to stick around. We would love to have you continue to help with the subcommittees. Keep your toes in the water a little bit. But on a serious note, it's kind of sad that we're going to lose you because of all your experience on the committee and familiarity with how things are run around here. So I'll miss having that expertise around on the committee.
I'm not an expert at anything. Jack of all trades, master of nothing. Commissioner Thomas.
Yeah, nothing to update on. I canceled the meetings for the remainder of the year, just on the cultural tourism stuff, because I know everyone's, in case you didn't know, there's a worldwide pandemic going on. And so, I think most people are focused on taking care of what they need to. I would have been a resource, a collective resource for that. I think Jessica and I tried that, but people took on what they needed to, and we're going to get back to it in February and see where people are. I got an email the other day from the Elsinore that they're doing something. So it seems that the people are recovering in their own way, and the meetings with historic tourism are certainly going to shift. I did give Kimberly, though, a trove of information. I don't know what you used, but we scanned for historical purposes every single document that we found relative to the walking tours. Although I hope you found, Kimberly, I hope you found and were able to get the one from Christy?
Kirsten.
Oh, Kirsten, yeah. So
yeah.
I hope you found that, because that one was good.
Yeah. So no, I appreciate you're doing that, especially when you're on vacation.
Oh, there's no vacation.
Oh, well, two of them. So with the city's updating our cultural and tourism web page, and we'll send you a link. It's in progress right now, and I think as I complained to you, our original digital file for that, especially that one downtown, got corrupted. So, and the Capitol had requested a link to some good walking tours. So I've got two of the ones that you scanned up there with a link that I sent to Jolene at the state Capitol. So as we move forward and you produce more and all of that, yeah, we'll update that. And
Yeah. Well, now that we're home, I have the one that we did. I have a copy of it, and I can scan it if that's helpful. I don't have the
yeah,
Word.
please. Yeah, I'm trying to work on just collecting everything that we have right now, and working with IT to try and get a story. And that we had a story map that also got corrupt, so it's just we're having to kind of redo
ransomware,
everything.
So like it only cost
I don't know.
$550.
Oh no! Yeah.
Kidding.
Anyway, thank you for your help on that.
You're welcome.
Okay, Commissioner Cottingham, they're calling you already?
So for the economic and recognition incentives, one of the big things we do is, of course, the photo contest, which starts in January. So although my fellow committee members aren't here tonight, this is our reminder that we need to start figuring out what it's been better. The contest has gone better. We've had more entries each of the last several years. So continuing to build off that. So we need to figure out if we're going to change categories, et cetera. And then that's all we have for now. And I guess for the grant toolbox grants, we propose putting in the newsletter. So there, that could be another thing for our committee.
Yeah. Hey, last but not least, Commissioner Kurtman. Oh, you're not done. Sorry. If you're.
That's all for me. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Okay, Commissioner Kurtman.
I don't know if Zach should now be a good time to bring up the postcard. Kimberly? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I will share that.
Yeah, I was gonna say I can share my screen too.
No, your background.
Your background is amazing.
Thanks. So thanks.
Look who it is, Kelly.
Okay, so a little bit of background real quick on this. So this is the in place of the Oregon Archaeology poster and calendar of events that usually get put out around this time of year. Usually, well, in the past, SHPO has been taking charge on that and using state parks funds to print those and put it together and design and everything. However, because of huge budget cuts on their end, they just don't have the funds or the time to do that sort of thing. So this would be the first year in a very long time that Oregon has not put anything out for Archaeology Month. So I proposed we do a postcard. So rather than print out over 2,000 posters and send them all over Oregon and get distributed and slap them everywhere, we're just going to send out about 500 postcards to targeted audiences, which are folks who continue to do archaeology in Oregon, museums, other cultural resource entities, and I feel like I was gonna say structures, but I guess like nobody's really in a structure these days. Like, anyways, so thank you to Zach and Kimberly for putting the time and effort together to begin the postcard. So this is the front of the postcard, and this was designed by Zach. And Zach, actually go back to the front real quick. So one thing I'm bringing this up to the commission for you guys to nitpick. Please give any suggestions you have. on what you would recommend to improve this or anything like that. I have a few things I'll change about the under the get involved to kind of make it more pop, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, like more impacting. But one thing, Zach, that I can now officially ask you to change, because I have a very old version of Adobe Photoshop, so I can't change the keep on digging text. But if you don't mind adding under Oregon Archaeology Month, if you could put October 2020, so that, because nowhere on the postcard does it say that Archaeology Month is October, and there was a reason for that, because you have to ask the governor's office every year for you have to apply for a proclamation for her to declare that October's Archaeology Month, and I just got that from the governor's office about an hour before our meeting. Oh. So, yay! So she has signed and made the proclamation that October is Oregon Archaeology Month. So now we can add October 2020 in there.
I can do that.
Perfect. So this is the front of the postcard, and we're showcasing the excavations that happened earlier this year at the oh my gosh.
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee, thank you. I was gonna say Jim.
Yeah.
At the Jason Lee.
Tracy too. Tracy, you're in a hole.
Yep, there's Tracy. So this kind of helps show that, you know, everyone's wearing their masks and everybody's doing their, you know, the archaeology still, even in 2020. So go ahead, and Zach, you can show the backside now. So this is the back of the postcard. I borrowed a bunch of the text from the City of Salem's website about the Jason Lee mission, and a little bit of additional language to kind of pinpoint that, you know, 2020 has been difficult to do a lot of these sorts of things, but it can still happen, and preservation is continuing, and it's not just on hold as a luxury item. So one thing just by looking at this from like this view, one thing I might do is maybe the Jason Lee mission the picture of the actual mission structure is really light. I might darken that just a little bit. But anyway, so at the top is the City of Salem's logo and ODOT's logo, because ODOT is the one that's providing funds to get these printed, but they're being printed through the City of Salem's printing facilities. And of course, Zach and Kimberly's been helping on this.
I think if we add the City of Salem logo, it has to go through City of Salem Communications before we can get it printed. So I don't know if we care about having our logo, but it's nice. I don't know, Kim, if you have input, or Natasha, about having our logo on there.
I think it's fine. I don't think it'll take a long time we could just send it to Kathy. It's short. She worked on those, all the videos we did for Jason Lee, so she's quite familiar with the project. I had to run all those through her too.
Okay.
Kathy Ersprung. I never pronounced her name right.
Okay. And for me, Tracy.
Well, I had a question about the front. Is now the time, or?
Yeah. I mean, I think we have time real quick. If you have any suggestions about the front, and then I can, if anyone's interested in looking at this a little further, I can send it to folks to review, and provide suggestions. We are wanting to send this out. Zach, what's the deadline?
As soon as possible, but
okay.
Just
so in the next hour.
We're already halfway through October, so
yeah.
Oregon Archaeology Month is almost over, but I'm assuming that we would print it early next week and get it mailed, if possible. But we don't want to send it until it's ready. So.
Right.
So I guess my two questions here. So where does OregonArchaeologist.com take you?
It takes you to the Association of Oregon Archaeology's website.
Okay, and then I guess my only question is under join, I would recommend adding a number of organizations if we could, like AOA. I know Oregon Archaeological Society was a huge, they volunteered a ton on the Jason Lee. So I don't know dynamics and stuff like that, but also maybe like say like your local community. I don't know if we want to put like Oregon Heritage. I look to you, Jessica, as you probably know a lot more about where to get information, but I think our join list should be a little bit longer. And I don't know too, if we want to add like Oregon Heritage as one of the websites as well. I know they're not technically doing it, but they still have a lot of resources. That would just be my recommendation.
Yeah, maybe under Learn. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's give Jessica a lot to do. Yeah.
I love that suggestion, because my hesitation with joining AOA is AOA is usually for professional archaeologists and not necessarily the public. So, I mean, we're not sending this out like we would the poster to anybody and everybody. We're also not sending it to schools. So it is a little bit different of an audience, but that's a very, very good suggestion, Tracy, to include more folks on there, especially those who helped out on the dig. So.
But other than that, I think this looks great. I'm excited that we're doing something. Congrats on getting the proclamation. That's exciting. So yeah, no, I think it's fun. I like that we highlighted a local thing. And actually, I do think it is important to try to keep the City of Salem logo on it, especially as we try to get the city to support a lot of our efforts that we're doing. I think this would be great PR for them. Like, oh, look at what, I know they just raised your utility bills. Like, they're also doing this great stuff for archaeology. So I do think it's important to keep the city logo on there if that's something we can do. I don't want us to, I hate to say it, but like lose credit for kind of helping carry this forward. So thanks, Jessica. You're the best.
I second that. It'd be great if the City of Salem logo could stay on there. Zach did a lot of work on getting this started and did a great job. And Kimberly and Zach, you guys have been running around getting me all sorts of information. So it would just seem weird to only have ODOT's logo on there. It would just kind of look like ODOT did everything, but all ODOT is doing is writing a check. So
I'd be happy to look at it too. If you could send it to me. And I could get it back to you sometime tomorrow or sometime during the weekend, just to kind of give it a look-see. I mean, yeah, I'd be happy to give it a glance to help kind of move it along.
Yeah, thank you. I'll add some of the edits that were suggested, and then I'll send it along. Thank you.
Yeah, we're both like just really taken aback by like being on the cover of the postcard. First of all, it's great.
Tell Davita.
I was thinking and then the kids are great, and then the process, like there's no like result picture. I think a result picture somewhere of like, because what did we find, like 2,500 artifacts or something like that?
The basement, the brick basement.
Yeah, I mean, I think a result picture, maybe the result picture on the back, 'cause the front is the beginning and then the back is the end, right? And then so maybe there's because whoever this gets mailed to, go to the back for a minute.
Is there room to put a result picture on the back?
Yeah, so like down here in the bottom left, because like, I mean, the whoever this goes to is like up in the middle. Like a result, I think the result picture is important too.
The only limitation on that would be we can only print on the back in black and white unless we want to significantly increase the cost. But that is an option.
I think that would be fine if we have a good result picture that's black and white.
Yeah, Kimberly, if you want to send me some
I'll send you
pictures,
some stuff. Yeah, I will.
Of some of the features, and I can play with it and make it black and white and watermark it. See if I can get it to work. I like that suggestion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'm the last person. I don't really have anything, although I just wanted to point out that I had a friend invite me to an archaeology talk on Thursday, October 22nd. It's funny, it's a friend from college. She invited me to this archaeology talk held by one Kimberly Fitzgerald about the Salem's Chinese shrine.
Who's that?
October 22nd,
I'll see
2020,
you there.
next Thursday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., hosted by the Museum of Natural and Cultural History.
At U of O, yeah, but virtual.
Yes, virtual, but I thought it was funny that my friend sent that to me. And
That is funny.
it's archaeology month, so I thought it was quite pertinent. So anyway, with that, historic preservation officer report, so we can end the evening.
Well, thank you. I'll be short. So I wanted to share some good news. On Monday night, the City Council held first reading for our code amendments to our historic code chapter, as well as our adoption of the historic preservation plan, which, as you know too well. We've been working on this for over a year now. So it went very smoothly. It was pretty late at night, actually, when they made the motion, and it took longer for the city recorder to read all of the appropriate numbers than it did for them to vote on it. And I had gotten just one call from one of the city councilors, Councilor Anderson, with just a few questions. He had been at a couple of our stakeholder advisory committee meetings, so he was very familiar with it, and he thought it was a great project and good job, everyone. So the next step is second reading, I believe on the 26th. Natasha, is that right? I think so, for second reading, and then it should be effective after that. Natasha, is that right? Is there anything else to do on that stuff? No?
Nope, because they didn't ask for a public hearing, so they'll just do second reading.
Yeah.
And then it'll be effective in 30 days from that date. So
yeah, so Lisa was giving me a bad time that they didn't give us more questions. I'm like, don't say anything. It's great. So something that Zach and I have been working on, mostly Zach, is making an executive summary version of the historic preservation plan that we can then send out to all the stakeholders, get it printed, because the big one, as you remember, is very thick. So we wanted a smaller one that we can, I like hard copies of things. So you guys will get one, unless you specifically say you don't want a hard copy version. Let us know that. We will mail you a hard copy of that. And then we'll also send it to the neighborhood association, the 3 that have historic districts. So that will happen in November. And then beginning in November, just to give you a heads up, we're going to start talking about our work plans for next year. So, and I don't know how to bring this up. I don't know what to even do, but we usually have a Christmas party in December, but we're not meeting in person. And so we've been just working so hard. I thought, I don't know if you guys have any ideas. I want to do something fun. I was joking with Tracy that I would have like snacks delivered to each of your doors or something. I don't know. I just want to convey my appreciation for all of your hard work, especially during this crazy year. So if you guys have any brilliant ideas for something fun we could do, I don't know. Think on it.
That's hard to, I would say, like, maybe we can all like meet at a park or something, but it's December.
I know.
So whether
I don't know. But just know, we really appreciate all of your commitment. Tracy has an idea.
I will think of good Christmas ideas. I do have one request or clarification I'd like to ask. Can we send the preservation plan to every neighborhood association, not just those that have historic districts?
Oh, sure.
So hi, Carol's child. I just think that's important because they might have potential historic districts or potential listings, and it might be good to kind of get them like, oh, hey, this is a thing we could do. I would sacrifice my own personal hard copy to give to one of the neighborhood associations. So that's just something I'd like to do to try to get more listings or more designations.
That's your committee. So that's what you did for your committee.
Get back. Oh yeah, that's my committee.
Good job, Tracy. Good job. Way to carry the torch forward from when I'm not here anymore.
Oh,
I don't want to talk
about it. My goodness. Yeah. Zach, did you have anything else to share?
I don't think so. We did. It might be too late. we got an email from Curry weeks ago, and I didn't know whether or not to send it on. Oh, there's going to be a workshop for CLG on November 16th from 9 to 4.
Oh yeah, you should send that to everyone. There's still time. And it'll be virtual, I imagine.
I imagine. It doesn't, trying to see exactly. There will be awards and fun stuff mixed in. We'll have a lunch breakout topics for networking.
I was going to ask Tracy, but she doesn't work there anymore. Tracy.
Oh, yes, it's online and free. November
Great.
16th from 9 to 4, which is a Monday. And there will be breaks throughout the day.
Okay, great.
I'll forward there's not a whole lot of detail, but I will forward this email.
Yeah, great. Yeah, for those of you, I don't know, has anyone ever gone to one of Curry's? Yeah, they're really fun.
I think that I was part of one of the youngest tables at one of these things, and I was actually the oldest at that table, but yet we were still the youngest table. Because I went with oh gosh, I can't remember. I went with Russell. Russell was there. Russell and somebody else, and I can't remember what her name was now. We went down. It was like in Eugene or something like that. It was like 3 years ago, maybe.
Yeah,
3 years ago. So it was super interesting. You know, I mean, it was good. I mean, different because it's virtual. So
right.
But just know I believe that we probably are one of the youngest commissions in the entire state, I have to say. So I actually think that that's kind of a good thing, and it gives preservation a good thumbs up.
Yeah,
you know, since
it's fun.
It has that little blue-haired lady kind of stereotype to it. So we show that we rock the mold.
Tell you what, I'm getting there fast.
No, you're
not.
Have twins.
Are we all done?
We are done unless anyone else has anything to share. Natasha, do you have anything you want to talk about before we let everyone go?
Okay.
I don't think so. Not tonight.
Okay, cool.
Okay,
all right.
Well, it's 6:49 and I'm gonna close this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good job, Jennifer.
Thank you.